It was just another Sunday, ordinary in every way. Steam curled from our coffee mugs. Soft music murmured from her phone. The faint aroma of freshly laundered clothes lingered in the air. We were folding laundry together. A quiet, domestic moment that usually felt warm and reassuring. Then she said it casually, as if commenting on the weather. Sometimes I think I should have ended up with Caleb instead. At first, I didn't process it. I waited for a laugh, a half smile that would tell me she was joking. But there was none. She kept folding a towel, eyes lowered, tone flat, like she was just thinking aloud.
Is der daher, stunt?
What did you just say? She didn't flinch. She met my gaze evenly and said, I just think maybe life would have been simpler. Caleb had made her feel seen. He had ambition, drive, he never settled like this. Her hand swept around the room, gesturing to our home in Eugene, Oregon. Our life, our quiet little world, built with effort, patience, and sacrifice. I said nothing. My chest tightened, coiling with a sharp ache. I turned and walked away, heading downstairs. I told myself I was overreacting, that I must have misheard or misunderstood. But she didn't follow me. She never tried to clarify, never said it came out wrong. Nothing. That night, I stayed on the couch. Not because she asked me to, but because the distance between us had suddenly grown too wide to ignore. I lay there thinking about Caleb, imagining how often she must have measured me against him in silence. Caleb, the college golden boy, charming, full of promises that never lasted. He disappeared after graduation, leaving her heartbroken when he moved overseas for work. She had cried in my arms then, devastated. And yet, years later, while folding laundry, she casually mentioned she might have chosen him if given the chance. After that day, something inside me shifted. I spoke less. I lingered at work longer. Sometimes I would sit in the driveway, engine running, just to give myself extra minutes to put on a mask before facing her. She noticed. She asked if something was wrong. I shrugged, said everything was fine. But it wasn't. I was withdrawing piece by piece, not through arguments but by closing myself off. I stopped sharing the small moments of my life. Laughter faded. Even our dinners became silent routines. We resembled strangers sitting at the same table. I couldn't stop imagining Caleb, that ghost from a decade ago, looming over us. I felt diminished next to him, though he wasn't even there. Then came the night she arrived home hours past dinner. No message, no warning. I waited. When she finally appeared around 10 o'clock, she looked uneasy, anxious. She said she'd met an old friend for drinks. Didn't name him. Didn't need to. Was it him? I asked. She nodded. I said nothing further. I quietly packed a small bag. Not from anger, but because I had nothing left to give. Maybe you need to figure out what you really want, I told her. She seemed ready to reply, but I stopped her. I'm not angry, I said. I'm just tired. And I left. No yelling, no scene, just silence. I stayed with a friend briefly, then found a temporary place in Bend, Oregon. She called a few times, sent a message trying to explain herself, saying she hadn't meant it the way it sounded. I didn't answer. In the quiet that followed, something unexpected happened. I felt lighter. Lonely, yes, but free. I began waking early, going for runs, cooking my own meals. I remembered who I was before molding myself to fit someone else's life. I saw how much I had compromised, how long I had been trying to be enough for someone who always kept one eye on the horizon, wondering what else was out there. Months later, I filed for separation. No bitterness, no drama, just space. Then one day, unexpectedly, she appeared at my door in Bend. She looked different, tired, thoughtful. She told me she had seen Caleb again. They hadn't spoken, only passed each other. He was unchanged, still chasing shiny dreams he could never quite catch. Then she looked at me, eyes glistening with tears. I was wrong. I thought I wanted adventure. I wanted to feel wanted. But what we had was real. You showed up. You stayed. And I broke that. I believed her, truly. But sometimes realization comes too late. When someone finally understands your worth, you've already learned how to live without needing their validation. I didn't hate her. I couldn't. But I wasn't the man who stood in that kitchen months ago, wounded and waiting. I had changed. I no longer wanted to return to the version of me that constantly tried to earn love. I'm glad you understand now, I said. But I'm not coming back. She sank to her knees, sobbing. I didn't slam the door. I closed it with calm, almost gentle. For the first time, I wasn't clinging. I was choosing peace, for the version of myself that had finally stopped begging to be seen.